With more than 42,000 restaurants in over 100 countries, Subway has the most locations of any fast food chain on the planet. And at first, that sounds like a sign of a thriving sub-giant. However, Subway is anything but thriving. Let's get into it. The chain began as Pete's Super Submarines in Bridgeport, Connecticut in 1965. 3 years later, co-founders Fred DeLuca and Peter Buck rebranded it to simply Subway. What was so compelling about Subway, and still is today, is its open kitchen format. In many ways, they really pioneered that, and the ability to customize your sandwich. The brand redefined fast food with fresh ingredients that customers could see being prepared right in front of them. Compared to other fast food chains at the time, it felt healthy. Watching someone make your sandwich with vegetables you could actually see made it seem fresher than a burger wrapped in paper from a warming tray. And it worked. By 1981, there were 200 locations across the US, and soon after, Subway went international. In the late 70s, 80s, and 90s, everyone knew about Subway. They were everywhere. They're still everywhere. While each store looks and smells the same, they're all independently owned franchises. The format is pretty simple. You buy a franchise, get trained, they help you secure a location, and support a grand opening, and you're open for business. Follow the several hundred-page operating manual, do the advertising, and customers will come in. Not only were Subway franchises successful, but they were also, and still are, one of the cheapest chains to franchise. It costs between $116,000 and $263,000 to open a Subway franchise. Compare that to opening a McDonald's, which costs up to $2.2 million. Because Subways were easy to open, the number of stores skyrocketed. Between 1990 and 1998, the number of store locations rose from 5,000 to 13,200. And in that same period, gross sales rose by about $2.1 billion. Subway's success continued into the early 2000s. At a time when obesity was rising rapidly in America, Subway continued to market itself as a healthy alternative to fast food. One of their biggest successes was the Jared Fogle story. Everyone remembers those ads, where he's in those huge pants, showing how he lost all this weight. And that just made them so much money, and it really made people think about Subway as a great health brand. It was one of the biggest advertising wins that any chain has had in recent decades. So that was a huge part of their brand. Subway carried Fogle's success story for nearly a decade, but by 2008, the world was suffering from the effects of the Great Recession, and for many Americans, hunting for deals replaced the obsession with weight loss. So Subway changed up its message. In March 2008, it introduced a new promotion that would come to define the chain, the $5 footlong. By August 2009, as other restaurant chains struggled through the recession, the $5 footlong had pulled in $3.8 billion in sales for Subway, a 17% jump in US sales from the year before. That jingle became impossible to escape, but even the best deals run their course. Starting in 2014, Subway's sales began steadily dropping. Behind the scenes, many of the reasons for Subway's success had turned against them. Quiznos was once Subway's main competitor, but tons of sub-chains like Jimmy John's, Firehouse, Potbelly, and Jersey Mike's, as well as fast casual chains like Panera, were offering seemingly fresher, healthier options, and they started stealing market share. They were competing against people who bring in fresh produce every day. A lot of Subway locations only bring in fresh produce once or twice a week. On top of that, fast food chains that had been around as long as Subway were coming up with their own healthy alternatives and getting creative with new menus. More and more fast food chains really want to have that innovation pipeline where they're bringing something new out almost every month. Fast food places are looking for ways to bring in new customers and drive traffic. and Subway has not tried to do that in the same way other places have. But other fast food chains weren't the only competition for Subway franchises, with Subway's franchising model making it so easy to open locations. Stores inevitably started opening up around the corner from each other in lucrative markets. Take downtown Manhattan, for example. Within a 15-minute walk in less than half a square mile, there are 10 Subway locations, and these locations in proximity began cannibalizing each other's sales. The Subway franchise agreement says they can open anywhere. There is no protected territory, so franchisees really have no say in where other franchisees are going to open. It's a problem, and Subway corporate wasn't stopping it, because the company benefited from a high number of locations. More locations meant more franchising fees and high royalties to Subway corporate, which diminished the effect of falling sales from a single location. When franchisees' sales are slipping, as long as they're staying open, it doesn't necessarily hurt Subway as much as it would some other chains. If everyone's kind of chugging along, opening new locations, then they can keep on keeping on, and it's not going to be the end of the world for the corporate office. Franchise owners, on the other hand, took the hit. In 2012, each Subway franchise generated an average of $482,000 a year. 4 years later, that number had slipped to $422,000 a year. For comparison, the average annual revenue of a McDonald's franchise in 2016 was $2.6 million. And to make matters worse, Subway would lose the face of its company. In 2015, the man who had embodied Subway's Eat Fresh mission was charged with possession of child pornography and having sex with minors. Subway cut ties with Fogel, and he was sentenced to 15.5 years in federal prison. And the Jared Fogle thing basically went from a huge positive to a huge liability. Like the worst things possible that your brand could be associated with. All of these things created the perfect storm for Subway, and soon, locations started to close. In 2016, Subway closed 359 stores in the US. It was the first year the chain closed more locations than it opened. In 2017, that number was over 800, and by the end of 2018, over 1,000 locations had closed. With all these sour ingredients, it's hard to imagine Subway could bounce back, but the chain is certainly trying. In 2017, Subway launched its Fresh Forward program, starting with remodeled stores. The revamped locations featured new menu boards, Wi-Fi, USB ports, updated furniture, and music. They're offering grants where, if a franchisee applies and everything's in line, they can get up to $10,000 towards remodeling. By the end of 2020, over 10,000 locations had this new restaurant design, but Subway says food is its next priority, and it's backing it up with an $80 million investment in updated menu items. Subway partnered with the media company Tastemade to develop hundreds of new menu ideas like the Green Goddess tuna melt and the Southern-style French dip. In 2018, the chain introduced its cheesy garlic bread, which was its most successful promotion in the last 5 years. And in 2019, a line of ciabatta sandwiches and Halo Top milkshakes hit stores. Historically, Subway would evaluate about 6 or 7 new menu items per month, but they've set up a process where they're literally testing at least 100 new menu items every month. As for whether or not all these menu items and revamped designs will stop shuttering stores and dropping business, only time will tell. They need to figure out who they want their customer to be. It's really an uphill battle for them. But if they go back to the basics, think about what people want, ask people what they want, and think about innovation, that's going to be a good start for them. The truth is, Subway got too comfortable. They pioneered the fresh concept, but stopped staying fresh themselves. They flooded the market with too many locations, cannibalizing their own sales. They failed to innovate while competitors got creative. They lost their spokesperson in the worst way possible. And they forgot that cheap and fast only works if people still believe in the fresh part. Subway isn't dead yet, but the path back to the top is steep. They need to prove that fresh isn't just a slogan. It's actually what's between the bread. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe. Drop a comment about whether you still eat at Subway or if you've switched to the competition. And I'll see you in the next one.